never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me, yeah. Wait, I think I'll last a bit longer. Find another reason.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. I hope everybody enjoyed all the college football from last night. I'm not going to talk about those games though, because we'll talk about them tomorrow when we do our Week 5 wrap-up in the world of college football. Today I'm going to be giving you some high school football scores, and almost every one of these games took place on Thursday night instead of last night, because 95% of the games this week got moved up to Thursday night instead of last night. There was only a couple of high school football games in the area held last night, and that's why everybody was sitting at home watching college football last night. But before I give you some of the high school football scores from this week in the world of high school football, I've got a few quick thoughts on the Tua Tagovailoa situation, and I wasn't going to mention it anymore. I mentioned it in yesterday's video as far as, him getting injured and how bad it was to see him get injured, because he has a history of health problems, health issues, going back to college. Every single year Tua plays, he gets hurt at some time throughout the year. So we'll never know how good he might be because he misses so many games. And that was pretty much my thoughts on it. But at work yesterday, there was so many people that are blaming the Dolphins and trying to make the Dolphins look bad. And I personally don't think they did anything wrong. And I'll give you an example of why I don't think they did anything wrong. And if anybody is wrong in this situation, it's the NFL, not the Dolphins. But a quick example for you is, let's say one day, all of a sudden, your skin just starts looking abnormal, and you start getting blotchy and getting spots all over your skin. Well, of course, you're going to think the worst and think, man, I might have skin cancer. I'm going to go to the doctor. You go to the doctor does the MRIs and does all the x-rays and comes back and says, well, sir, I checked you out. I checked your x-rays. We did your MRIs, and I can tell you, you don't have skin cancer. We're not quite sure yet what the problem is, but you don't have skin cancer. So, of course, you leave the doctor. You're feeling so much better because you're relieved, because you know you don't have skin cancer. You got to find out the problem, the issue, but you know it's not skin cancer. And then all of a sudden, somebody you don't know gets on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram and tells you, no, I've seen skin cancer and I can tell you you've got skin cancer. Well, who are you going to trust? The doctor that gives you a test result and tells you you don't have it, that gets paid $1 million a year to do x-rays and CAT scans and MRIs and all that, or some Joe Schmo that you don't know on social media telling you you have it? Well, you're going to trust the doctor because the doctor gets paid all that money to test you. Now, can the doctor be wrong? Absolutely. We're human. We can all be wrong. but you're going to trust a doctor over some nobody that you don't know on social media. Well, this happened with the Dolphins because Sunday Tua passed concussion protocol. And if you go back and watch their post-game press conference after the game, he looked fine, he talked fine, he walked fine. And the doctor said he's fine. So he was not in concussion protocol. He was cleared to play. So if the doctor messed up, that's on the doctor, not the Dolphins. The Dolphins were told he was cleared to play. If anybody is wrong in this, it's the NFL, because you can go back as far as Pee Wee football. Whether you look at Pee Wee football, middle school football, high school football, college football, or the NFL, football is played once a week. There's a reason for that. It's a very dangerous, hard-hitting sport. It should be played once a week. So nobody should play on Sunday and then come back and play on Thursday. That's too much football in a quick, short amount of time. So they're going to have to either get rid of Thursday night football or make it mandatory to where if you play on Thursday, you're off the Sunday before. That way, you've got a week and a half in between your games. But let's don't be stupid and say the NFL don't care about injuries, because we know that's not real, because otherwise you wouldn't have all these old school football fans complaining about how nowadays the game has changed because of all these rules. Why do they have these rules? Because they care about the safety of players. So let's not be stupid and say something like that. It just happens. It's mistakes. We all make mistakes. But the Dolphins were told Tua had no concussion. He was cleared to play. That's on the doctor, not the Dolphins. But if anybody messed up, it's the NFL for making them play on Sunday and then come right back and play on Thursday. But if Tua's your quarterback and you're told he's healthy, you're going to play him. Otherwise, you're benching a player who did absolutely nothing wrong. But on to some high school football scores for the week. Mountain View defeated Decula by the score of 29-7. Mill Creek over Central Gwinnett, 58-7. Alpharetta defeats Sprayberry, 27-17. Lassiter, 23. Johns Creek, 20. Cedar Shoals, 21. Cherokee Bluff, 19. Dawson County shuts out White County, 31-0. Elbert County remains undefeated. They defeat Mount Vernon, 36-7. North Oconee puts up 70 by defeating North Hall, 70-7. Clark Central over Flowery Branch, 17-7. Jackson County over Habersham Central, 38-13. East Jackson all over Banks County, 55-24. Rabun County over Fellowship, 21-16. Jefferson shuts out Winder Barrow, 28-0. Shiloh, 55. Appalachia, 7. Hebron Christian, 35. Oconee County, 28. Stevens County wins again. They defeat the Purple Hurricane of Monroe area, 27-24. Loganville defeats Eastside, 13-10. Hart County over Franklin County in what is supposed to be a rivalry game, but the lines are so bad this year, it wasn't. It was over by first quarter. Hart County wins 49-3. Madison County defeats Chestatee 39-8. Oglethorpe over Seconder 35-0. Commerce defeats First Presbyterian Day School 31-26. Buford, in a game that was played last night, defeats Collins Hill 23-17. 24-3. And Norcross defeats Duluth 48-0. And some scores in South Carolina. Aiken defeats Airport 21-7. Chester defeats Woodruff 41-34. Chesterfield defeats North Central 36-30. J.L. Mann defeats Woodmont 14-7. And J.L. Mann now has 5 wins on the season. And this is the first time since 2011 that they've had 5 wins in a season. So J.L. Mann has been down for over a decade. And they have 5 wins this year. Keep playing like that. And they might go to the playoffs this year in the upstate of South Carolina. Clinton all over Union 61-7. Daniel defeats Woodruff 56-14. Dorman all over Boiling Springs 52-14. Landrum defeats Chesney, not Kenny Chesney, but Chesney 28-0. Easley comes back in the fourth quarter and defeats Pickens 35-28. Emerald defeats Eastside 27-14. Greenwood all over Berea 57-6. Pendleton defeats West Oak 53-6. Lawrence over Greer 20-17. Riverside defeats Wade Hampton 49-7. T.L. Hanna defeats Malden 35-26. And Wren defeats Fountain Inn by the score of 49-7. And those were some scores from this week in the world of high school football from Thursday night and Friday night. Because of the hurricane, most of the games were played on Thursday night in Georgia and in South Carolina this week. Any thoughts on that, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. I've entered a stair climbing competition. I must step up my game. And that wraps it up for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.